So yeah, simultaneous equation, we are learning here to use them in real life problems. You'll see the problems that we're going to go through, and they could be something that might comes to your way one day. So let's see here. We've been given a small problem. A jeweler uses two different arrangement of beads and pearls. So the first arrangement consists of 3 beads and 3 pearls, and this, like a necklace or something, has an overall length of 10.8. He uses the same beads, the same pearls, and on the second arrangement, he's got 6 beads and 4 pearls, and the length this time is 12 centimeter. So I can see what the question is going to be. Find the length of one bead and the length of one pearl. How can we solve this? Using simultaneous equations. Okay, so you can see a real life type problem. Now, what we do when we get a question like this is we use algebra. Okay, so what I mean by that is we're going to use letters and numbers. Algebra is just a way of mathematician talking. So if we decide that X is going to be the length of one bead, so this is what you need to decide. So the length of one bead is X, and the length of one pearl, we're going to call it Y, because we're looking for X and Y, two letters that are used in mathematician by a lot. Sometimes you can say, oh, I'm going to call it B and P. It's up to you. You can just decide how you want to call it. So that means if I've got 3 lengths of x's, 3x plus 6y, it will be a 10.8 centimeter in that first case. Whereas the second case, if I've got 6x plus 4y's, the length will become 12 centimeter. Now I'm looking for x and y. I'm just going to write exactly using algebra. 3x plus 6y is 10.8. 6x plus 4y equal 12. So I need to solve this by elimination. Yeah? So how can we eliminate that? We need to decide first, right? First thing first, we said we're going to call 1A, 1B, capital A, capital B, label. Next, decide what you want to eliminate.
Probably
So,
X.
So, yep, so if X would be an easy one, because you've got 6x at the bottom. To make the top 6x,
yeah, top
time by 2, yeah, and that would be quite straightforward. Yeah, so you can say I'm going to do A times 2, and I'm going to leave B the way it is, which is B times 1. So you get your 6x plus 12y equal 21.6. This time, remember, you need to double as well this side. And 6x plus 4y is 12. And that makes sense, because if you had 3 lengths of x plus 6 lengths of y, and it's only 10.8 centimeter, if you double your necklace length by doubling the number of beads and pearls, you will double as well the length of the necklace, yeah? So that might as well give you a wee hint looking at it physically. Or if I double these, it should double as well the length. Okay? So now we're going to eliminate x, like we've decided, by taking away the top from the bottom, c minus d, yeah? So c minus d got rid of 6x, 12y minus 4y is 8y, 21.6 minus 12 is 9.6. Now you divide both sides by 8. These are the type of question maybe with calculator, for example. Then 9.6 divided by 8 equal 1.2. Okay. To be honest, it could be without a calculator. The way to do it, if you're not comfortable with decimals, you time by 10 first the 9.6. That means you get 96 divided by 8. And then your answer, you divide it by 10. Okay,
I never thought of it.
so yeah, you'd be surprised how many people, even after a long, long spell doing math, are still struggling with decimals. So what you could, because we're doing, remember what I said one day when someone showed me, I hated long divisions and stuff like that, but when someone showed me how to do fraction, it's the day that I started liking divisions, because they showed me that you can do an equivalent fraction, for example. So I knew.
We have our prelim.
Yeah.
Can we maybe have like a wee 20 minutes or so going over, like, you know, before that last test, you kind of went over the, was it this, getting like your working out something's in the 9 times tape, but like, I'm not being funny here when I say like a dummy's guide to like all these wee clue things.
Yeah, I can go through some of these hints to help.
It's quite good having that like written down. Like I go back to the stuff that I wrote down for that.
Manual.
Yeah.
So basically, what I was saying there, by timing by 10, I'm timing the top by 10, which is 96, and I'm going to divide first by 8, and my answer I just divide by 10 basically. So 96 divided by 8, that's 12. Then I know that 12 divided by 10 is just 1.2.
That's quite clever, actually.
Because 96 is 80 plus 16. So even that, you don't need to put that onto a, you can just say, oh, that's 80. So 80 divided by 8 is 10. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So 10 plus 2 is 12. So you don't need to do any real working proper divisions. It's all using the fractions basically. And that is 1.2. Yeah. So that could be a non-calculator question.
I would go old school and try and do long division, like 8 divided by 9.
But yeah, once you know,
carry the.
Yeah, and it's so easy. It's so easy. Oh, I ask sometimes question like this, and then some of my S1 would say, "Oh, it's one reminder this," and I'm saying, "No, you need to give an answer, not just the reminder." And they say, "Oh, but I stop there," and then I start now working them through. Or they've done fraction, and suddenly they say, "Oh, that's easy to do. I don't have to do all that stuff that I didn't know how to do."
Find it a different way.
Yeah. So now that we've got y, so we know that the length, I think that was the beads, or yeah, the pearls is 1.2 centimeter. Now I'm going to sub y into one of the equations. Let's pick the easiest one. 3x plus 6 times 1.2 is 10.8. So 6 times 1.2, so 6 is 7.2. So 10.8 minus 7.2, 3.6. Then you divide by 3 each side, and you get 1.2.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
So funnily enough, both the beads and the pearls were the same length.
Well,
see, I think I would, in an exam, double guess myself there.
I'd like, nah.
So, but what you do here is once you've got these and you're not too sure, you've got a way to check.
Yeah.
And if it works for both, you've got the right answer. So you would go 3.6 plus 7.2, oh, that's 10.8. And the other one, you would go 7.2 plus 4.8 is 12. What happened there? Yeah, it's 12 because we had 12. So we've checked it. So that means our answer is correct. X is 1.2, Y is 1.2. But you're right, people will start doubting. Surely they're not giving us a pearl and a beads with the same length. But in this case, yeah. It could have been a trick one, but once you check it, you're happy. So another way that simultaneous equations can be used a lot is, this is going to come quite often, is when you've got a prize for adults and prize for children, which costs that amount, and you go to another place and it tells you the adults, 7 adults and 4 children is another price, and you can quickly check if the price of 1 adult and the price of 1 children. Yeah. So we can decide X is the price of 1 adult and Y is the price of a child. So 4X would be 4 adults plus 6Y is 97.6, and 7X plus 4Y is 120.6. So we've been asked to find X and Y basically. What is the price of an adult? What is the price of a children? So the first thing that goes into my head when I get a question like this, if it's a real problem, I need to make sure that my answer I'm going to get, X is going to be bigger than Y. There is no way the price of a child is going to be more than the price of an adult. Yeah? So that's another way for you to give you a wee warning when you get your answers. Before you even go and check them, the problem will be a real scenario. They're not making them up, okay? If they do, then it's not going to pass the SQA. So, by elimination, so I've got a 4X and a 6Y, and I've got 7X and a 4Y. So I'm going to decide which one we're going to eliminate. So me, if I was given this, I'll look 4 and 7, okay, and 6 and 4. Maybe I can make my 6 a 12, yeah? 12Y, and I can make my 4Y a 12Y. That'd be my highest common denominator. So, label first.
The 7's also not as an odd number, so I would start, that stands out for me.
Yeah, 7 is harder, but in this example, they've decided they want to eliminate X. So that means you're gonna have to time the top by 4, sorry, the top by 7 and the bottom by 4. So basically they're looking for 28 here. 4 times 7.
28x.
28x, yeah, so you need to do A times 7 and B times 4 to eliminate X. Okay, so let's see. So 4X, A times 4 and B times, no, should have been B times, hold on a second. Eliminate X. They're gonna eliminate B here. Oh, sorry, they're gonna eliminate Y. Okay, I'll fix that. Let's have a look. By doing what they've done here, they are eliminating Y. So 16X, there you go. So they're eliminating Y. So I'll fix that. We'll fix it as it's live there.
That's why we're just checking.
Yeah, just checking that everyone is paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So decide what you want. So they've decided to eliminate Y by timing A by 4 and B by 6. Yeah. Again, what I said earlier on, we could have made it by looking at timing by 2 the top and by 3 the bottom. Again, you would get the same answer. But let's go the standard way of eliminating by timing the one at the top with the factor of the one at the bottom and the one at the bottom with the factor. So this time you will get your 16x plus 24y is 390.4, and 6 times 7, which is 42x plus 24y equals 759.6. And if we start subtracting them to get rid of the y, you will get negative 26x equal negative 369.2. This is with the calculator, guys. Then you do in your calculator negative 369.2 divided by negative 26. So hopefully you will get a positive number. So you can try that. Negative 369.2 at the bottom, negative 26. It should be positive, and I got
doing that, should you put the brackets in your calculator?
You don't have to. The calculator, I think, will work its way okay. But if you put the brackets, you will still get the same answer. Or in this case here, they're not using these Casio. They're using a basic calculator. You know, the calculator you get into a wee shop or something.
How do you know that? Just
because on those calculator you can't do two, like a divide and a minus would conflict.
Right.
You will get an error on those old calculators. Whereas if you use
bracket.
Yeah, well, that's probably why it's put it with the brackets here.
Okay.
But if you do with the brackets, it should still work. I'm going to try it with the brackets on both sides. And the Casio should give you the same answer.
Yeah.
So I get 71 divided by 5, or 71 over 5. Obviously, because it's money, we need to get a proper value. So if you do S, like scientific to decimal, it gives me 14.2. Remember, we're talking here about money. To get the correct answer, you need to put it pounds and pennies or pence, pounds and pence. So you need to write it as 14.20 to get the mark. If you just write 14.2, it's not going to be a full mark given to you. Okay, so we've got a price for the adult. Adults are paying £14.20. Now to find the price of a child, we just sub into one of them. So I'm going to sub it into equation A. So 4 times 14.20 plus 6y equal 19.60. Then 6y equal 97.60 minus 56.80. Then 6y equal 40.8. And then you divide by 6, both sides. 40.8 divided by 6 is 6.80. Yeah? Solution, adult price. So by looking at these two answers, I've got a good chance of getting it right. If I had it the other way around, then maybe I've made a mistake somewhere. Then you can quickly check them. 4x plus, remember you've got your calculator. You just type 4 times one of them plus 6 times 680 is 56 plus 40. First one is good, 99.40 plus 27. And you know that you've got the correct answer. So this is a very common problem. Price of an adult and price of a child gives you a certain amount. Find the unit price, basically. Okay. So let's see what kind of homework we will get with real life problem. Or,
Can you go back for
oh, sorry.
Just right to the question, sorry.
So 14E,
okay, that's
125, page 129.
Thank you.
So 5 apples and 3 bananas cost 178. Write down an equation to represent this information.
Actually, what page was that?
So page
129.
Ah, okay, no worries, sorry. No worries.
That 14E.
14E.
Yeah.
See, that's why I write it down.
Yeah. B, C, D. You go.
Right, to keep us busy last
So, yeah. So you've got to decide what you call X and what you call Y, for example. We can decide here.
Apples
X, yeah, X is the price of an apple. and y is the price of a banana. Just the way we were doing with the adult and children's price, you just rewrite down an equation. So that would be 5x plus 3y so 5x plus 3y equal 1.78. So you don't need to put the unit just now, as long as you know at the end that your answer, you will need to put it into money. Now, in that same shop, when you buy 2 apples and 1 banana, it costs us 64 pence. So I need to write an equation as well for that. So 2x plus y equals 0.64, right? That's how you would start. You would call this equation A, if you want. And this equation, we'll call it B. Now we need to decide what we're going to eliminate if we find it in order to find the cost of 1 apple, 1 banana.
Times the bottom by 3, times
Yep.
equation B and A by 1.
So if I do B times 3 and A by 1, I will get 5x plus 3y. So I'm just going to say by 3 to eliminate y, and by 1, this one. So 5x plus 3y equal 1.78. Whereas the other one becomes 6x this time. And 3y. And hopefully, by looking at this, I'm going to have more than 1.78. Yeah? So 3 times 0.64, I get 1.92. So this is where basically your brain is working as you do the calculation. Because I'm basically looking at a real life scenario where I know I bought more apple here with the same number of bananas. Surely the price should be bigger. If I had a lower price here, I would ask myself a question. Either this is not done properly. For example, imagine they told us cost 0.24 pence, for example, 24. Then it wouldn't work properly, right? But like I said, real life are real life scenarios. So I've got my C and D now. Now I'm going to do, up to you. You can do C take away D or D take away C. It's up to you. You can write them the way you want. So I'm going to do D take away C because I want positive, right?
Yeah.
I love my positive numbers because they always get me out of jail. So 6x minus 5x, that's x. Excellent. That's what I was looking for. 3y minus 3y is 0. 1.92 minus 1.78. And that's the price of my apples. So 1.92 minus 1.78 equal 0.14 or £0.14 pence.
Quite cheap.
Yeah, 14 pence for an apple, yeah. And the next one, now that I've got the price of an apple, I'm going to sub it into B because I've got y on its own. So sub x into B. As you can see, I'm always looking for the solution that is the easiest for me. Sub x into B, because I'm looking for y, I don't have to divide after. I've got y on its own there. So 2 times 0.14 which is 28 pence, hopefully, plus y on its own equals 0.64, then y equals 0.64 minus 0.28. Again, it's quite late in the day. I'm allowed the calculator. Why not use it? And the answer is 0.36. Now, find the cost of one apple. You would go back and you would say one apple, £0, 14 pence, and one banana, £0, 46 pence.
Yep.
Now, do you think I'm going to stop there? Always check that my answer makes sense or is right. 5 apples, so 5 times, so I'm going to do 5 times, what did we say apple were, 0.14, plus 3 times 0.36. My answer is 1.78. Bingo, that works.
Yeah.
And I do the next one, 2 times 0.14 plus 0.36 equal 0.64.
Yeah.
Good. So I know, checked both by substitution, my answer is correct. If this is 4 marks, sometimes these are 4 or even more. I'm coming out of my exam there, confident that I found. And I like real life problem because it gives me a lot of ways to check that makes sense. Usually in a shop, an apple unit price is cheaper than a banana's unit price. So all those are we hence telling me that yeah. Okay, so that it gives you another dimension of a problem because it makes you think about what you've written rather than just doing math for the sake of doing math.
Yeah.
So we've done this one together. So there are another one here. I'm going to let you try it. Brass is made by mixing copper and zinc. So this is probably a problem that could be given to chemistry. They were moaning last year about the Nat 5 chemistry was more math than anything else, but it is math used by, so are made by mixing different quantities. So the first type use 6 cubic centimeter of copper and 5 cubic centimeter of zinc. So
Adrian, I do the Nat 5 chemistry. I can tell you there is a lot of math.
Yeah.
Lots.
So, but you could see it's a chemistry type problem, and you can apply math to answer the question. I know a lot of people were disappointed because they said I would have rather just done a math rather than going into chemistry, but it's just, yeah, the luck. Okay, so let's see. So they're even telling us, let's C be the mass of the copper of 1 cubic centimeter and Z be the mass of the lead. Write down an equation containing C and Z. So I'm looking at C. The first type, it says 6 times C plus 5 times Z is equal to 89.
6C.
Yeah, so basically I'm just doing 6 cubic centimeters. So C is a mass of 1 cubic centimeter. So 6C plus 5 cubic centimeter of Z is 89. Now the second type is using 8 cubic centimeter of copper and 3 zinc. So this mixture this time weigh 93 grams. write down a second equation. So I'll get my 8 times C plus 3 times Z equal 93. Now you're down to just doing math. You've got two equations, simultaneous equations. You're going to decide which one you call A, which one you call B, what you're going to eliminate. Once you eliminate, you find the value, you sub it into the other one, you get the other one, you've got your two values. You don't stop there, you quickly check that both are working, and that's you. Okay. And hopefully the value you will get are going to be a mix less than 89 grams and okay, and less than 93 gram by a mile. So what else problem we've got? Again, they're talking about tomatoes and onions.
Life stuff.
Yeah. So I remember when I first arrived in Scotland, I said to a guy, do you say here tomatoes or tomatoes? And he told me, oh, we don't say either, we just say tomata. And I went, okay. That
I
was good.
was going to say, how's your Glaswegian? Like, you pick up on that.
So five tomatoes, 3 onions cost $2.35, whereas 2 tomatoes and 7 onions cost $2.39. Alex goes to the checkout, so you can see that you've got two equations to set there. He goes to the checkout, he buys 9 tomatoes, 4 onions, he has £6 of cash. Does Alex have enough cash to buy this produce? You must explain your answer. So basically, by looking at this, you need to set your two equations. You need to find the price of 1 tomatoes and 1 onion. So you can use X for tomatoes, Y for onion, or you can use T for tomatoes. And I wouldn't advise to use O for onion. I've seen people writing O and eventually, oh, that looks like a 30. And suddenly they're carrying a 30 in their equation, not knowing what they've done. So yeah, pick something that doesn't lead you into, again, a very easy to trip. I've seen that done many times. And whenever I tell them, just use X and Y. Oh, but it makes more sense to use O. I said, I know it does, but if it makes you making a mistake, then they'll get it once they've done the mistake a couple of times. Once you find the price of 1 tomato and 1 onion, you now do the 9 times whatever X plus 4 times Y, and that answer should be less than 6. That's the question you should ask yourself. Is that less than £6 or 6.00? Because if that is the case, then you can answer yes. Okay, so you can see it's a bit more than simultaneous equations with a bit of a twist at the end. But these are the type of problem that I like to go through rather than just putting X and Y's without understanding what they do. And at the back of this slide, you've got a lot of past paper questions. So it's just for you to practice, I guess, before we go through prelims and stuff. So these are the type of questions. I've put them there because you can see the variables they use. So solve algebraically the system of equations. So it's just, you've got simultaneous equations, work your way through them. Algebraically means use an elimination process. Okay. If they had said to you solve graphically the system, then you would have to graph it by putting lines. But whenever you see algebraically, it's using algebra. So let's see another question. Yeah, very similar. System of equations, solve algebraically, solve algebraically. This is a problem with real life. So seats on flight from London are sold at 2 prices, £30 and £50. On wide flight, a total of 130 seats was sold. Let X be the number of seats sold at £30 and Y be the number of seats sold at £50. Write down an equation in x and y which satisfies the above condition.
X would be 30.
So 30 times,
30x
yeah, 30 times x
plus
Um,
30 times y
15.
equals to £6,000. No,
Yeah, so if you've got seats on flight, so let's do number of seats is 130. So you've got x plus y equals 30, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Equal 130, sorry.
30.
That's the number, the total number of seats. That's the first one that we can write. X number of seats, Y number of seats. 130 in total. Yeah? We just read. I know it took us a while because you were reading the second part.
I was jumping ahead.
Yeah, don't read the second part because just go, okay, I'm asked to do A, and this is what they've given me to do A. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Now the second part is the sales of the seat of the flight total 6,000. This is where you need to write down the second equation, where you say, okay, if I've got X seats at £30, that's 30X, yeah?
30x plus
Plus
y is 100.
Y is 50, so 50 Ys equals 6,000. And now we've answered A, we've answered B, so usually these will be like 1 mark, 1 mark. How many seats were sold at each price? So seats X, Y, they're asking us to find X and Y, simultaneous equations, yeah? You've got to solve this algebraically. So you would put them down, you would say this is A, this is B. I'm gonna eliminate, it's up to you. You either time by 30 or you time by 50. You can eliminate X if you want to time by 30. Or if you want to time by 50, that's probably easier.
You do 50, yeah.
Yeah. Because timing by 50 is the same as timing by 100 and divide by 2. So that's the easiest way to do it. You time by 100, then you divide by 2. Timing by 100, you add 2 0. Then that means you got 13,000 divided by 2, and that should be 6,500. Yeah, so 50 times A, we're going to do, or A times 50. I can write it like that. Gives me 50x plus 50y equal 6,500. Yeah. And on the second one, we've got 30x plus 50y equals 6,000. And we said this is going to be b times 1, right? Now we've got C and D. We're just going to do C minus D. 50 minus 30 is 20x. The y's are gone. Equal 500. then x equal 500 divided by 20, or 50 divided by 2, which is just 25. So I've got 25 seats sold at £30. Yeah. Now we're going to sub that into x plus y equal 130. So sub into A, because that's the easiest one. Remember, we are looking to make less mistake. Sub x into A. So 25 plus what give me 130? Should be 105, yeah? Y equal 105. So 105 seats sold at £50. Let's check it. The first one is easy to check. 105 plus 25, that's 130. Now we need to do 30 times 25. So 30 times 25 plus 50 times 105. And if I've done it correctly, I should get 6,000, which is what I got. So I've checked them in each of my two equations, A and B. And the answer is how many seats were sold at each price. So 25 seats were sold at £30 and 105 seats were sold at £50. Yeah?
Yep.
And all the way, you probably in your mind going like, oh, X, that must be pound. Because most of the time when I did some exercise, it was pound. So your brain is just telling you to change those X's in pound. Or how come this is £25? No, go back to what you've been told. X, number of seats. Y, number of seats. Tell that to yourself a few times, because we're so used to do adult price, children price, and you go, but just read the problem, underline what's important, and just walk your way through it. Yeah? But yeah, the difficult part here was to write down those equations first, or understand what they're telling us to do here. And yeah, try to blank one side as you read through. Because the first question should have enough information on the top one to give you the answers. Yeah. But it's, to be honest, it's so easily done. Because me, I was looking at this thinking, oh, they're talking about 6,000. Is that £50 times 50 times X? No, you just take your time, read it, and usually you should be okay. Okay. So tough problem because it involves a lot of understanding. This is probably very similar. X pounds to the cost for an adult. Yeah, this is like cost of adult cost. This is the typical type of question you get. And then you can check if one group has been overcharged or not. Justify your answer. Another one, taking part in a quiz. So again, we see these questions coming. So if you get the chance to have a go at some of them, if you're not too sure, if you're stuck, just let me know. Oh, these are the pearls and the beads. So hopefully these will be definitely different in size, 2 beads and 5 pearls. Remember earlier we had 1.2. This will come with different measurements, especially if they've drawn it that way. Okay, but again, you can take a reference from the notes before. Again, some more algebraic saves. Find the point of intersection. Oh, this time you need to do it graphically. Actually, do you know what? You don't have to do it graphically. If they just ask you to find the point of intersection, you can just find X and Y But remember to write it as x and y as a point coordinate, right? So you can solve this algebraically if you want, but they've opened it. They've opened the question to let you do whichever one you want, you find easier for you to do.
Get y first. 2.
Yeah, basically you time by 2 the second one. That means you can add them up. So that'd be 6x minus 2y equal 26. So 26 minus 5. 7x equal 26 minus 5, which is 21. Then x equal 3. There you go. If x equals 3, 3 times 3 is 9. Minus y equal 13 minus 9. Minus y equal 4. So y equal negative 4. So even by looking at this, you can find your answers. Yeah, because you've got a technique. Again, more problem solving. More problem solvings, passengers, cars and passengers, cost of car. Yep, peaches and grapefruits, apples and bananas. That is quite common. So there's quite a few. These are all picked. Sorry?
I'm having our Christmas dinner at this rate.
Quite a few. Yeah.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, this is more complicated. Probably need to do a bit more. This probably you'll be able to do when you're going to do applications unit. So you can leave that for later on once you're more confident. Again, price, pence, liters, price, cinema with seats. So you've got an idea now what kind of, we've got triangle, x centimeter, 5x and 2y. The perimeter is 42. Yep, write down an equation. So on this type of question here, because they've told us the perimeters of the triangle, so you need to add that length plus that length plus that length, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So 5x plus x, that's 6x, plus 2y equal 12. So we've got the first mark, because we know what a perimeter is.
Perimeter not 42.
Sorry?
Perimeter not 42 centimeters, am I talking nonsense?
Oh, 42. Where did I get the 12 from?
I was just checking.
Whoa. You know, the 4 looks like a 1. And I'll quickly glance through. Where's 42? Oh, maybe I did 6 times 2. It's probably too late in the day. But the second question is, the second thing is write down. So we've done that. PR is 2 centimeters longer than QR. So PR, which is 5x, yeah, that's PR, is 2y plus 2. So you can see how tricky this second question was. 2 centimeters longer. Because they're all in centimeter, you can just say 2y plus 2. And you can rewrite that by moving y on the left side. And that is 5x minus 2y equal 2. And you've got your simultaneous equation to solve. Yeah? And one day you'll go, people will tell you, oh, John is twice the age of Paul, and Paul is 3 years younger than his sister, whatever. And you'll start now putting x and y's to be able to solve those. And you'll see that using simultaneous equation can solve you so many of those quiz type questions that you get. Okay, so it's problem solving.
As long as they're generous with my age.
So we've written both equations. Calculate the value of x and y. You just got to solve these, and that's you. To solve these, we're going to eliminate y by adding them. So 6 plus 5 is 11y equal 44. Sorry, 11x equal 44. X equal 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to sub x in either or. So 6 times 4 is 24. 42 minus 24. 18
12.
divided by 2. So
I know.
42 minus 24, 18 divided by 2 is 9. So y is 9. There you go. So you've got x and y without writing it. But I would argue that it's safer to write so that you can check it afterwards. So the tricky bit to me was the second one, how to write this using algebra.
Can't be any trickier than that. I mean, you're just simply moving the terms around, aren't you? I mean,
Yeah.
to bring out then, yeah.
Yeah. And that should conclude the lessons on simultaneous equations. We've done the simple one, we've done a bit harder ones, and we've put it into context. And you've got plenty to practice because it comes, yeah, I've never seen a paper without at least one simultaneous equation. Okay. All right. If you've got any questions, or remember, you can email them to me. You can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop the recording, and that should be